Greetings, fellow Gothamites. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And we're back to talk about episode 20 of season 4 of Fox's retelling of the Dark Knight mythology, entitled That Old Corpse. So join us as we venture into Batman's birthplace
and explore Gotham.
That Old Corpse. Dragon, doesn't that just sound like a cheesy, like, late 80s, early 90s sitcom?
It does, and it's hilarious.
Okay, which late 80s, early 90s comedian could you see playing that old corpse?
Oh God. God,
I'm thinking like maybe like a, I don't know, like maybe a Steve Martin.
Well, just for the gag of it all, just because they always have like a cheesy, title. Let's just say Michael Keaton, just for that.
Michael Keaton, oh God.
I'm just saying, it's like, hey, he played a corpse in a movie, right? So let's either that or Bill Murray, maybe.
Okay, so folks, as you can see in this image, this episode introduces us to, it's not quite Harley Quinn, but it's like, hey, look, we have a jester henchwoman to the Joker.
Of course, other way of putting it, Proto Harley.
But Dragon, do you know what web series doesn't have a Proto Harley, but in fact one of the best interpretations of the Harley Quinn character ever put to film?
Tell me.
It's Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world at the Just Giggle It YouTube channel. Oh,
that's
my
right.
God. Oh my God, folks, you got to check this thing out. I have the link to episode 5 in the description. Episode 5 is the big one. It's the one that we need to get to 1 million views in order to get the next episode. So, folks, go on, tell your friends. If you're watching this episode, if you're watching this podcast, odds are you're into Batman, you like the Joker. Trust us on this, folks. Harley Quinn and the Joker versus the real world. Great fateful interpretation of the characters in a ridiculous situation where Harley and Joker move to LA and, as the title suggests, face real life difficulties and challenges as they face off against the real world lifestyle.
Oh yes, and shenanigans ensue.
Dragon, I just remembered something that crossed my mind. Is the first time you told me about that show, I thought it was a parody of the real world reality show.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like I thought it was like Harley and Joker going on the real world reality show.
Boy, were you wrong.
Yeah, I was. I was wrong in the best of ways. All right. So, Dragon, man, oh man, we've got that nonsense Raja Ghul storyline behind us. I guess it's not Raj himself that's the problem. It's Barbara. But thankfully, folks, much in the grand tradition of season 1, this is a Barbara-free episode, and we can rejoice about that. It kind of feels odd to rejoice about that, but that's where we are, folks. Anyways. So, Dragon, my God, this episode really ramped things up, and, if the next 2 episodes are any indication, I really think this is probably the best season of Gotham we've ever had. I mean, they've, just all this Joker stuff is fantastic.
Yeah.
And also, just want to say, I totally called the Jerome communicating from beyond the grave stuff.
Yep.
Anyways, bragging rights there.
Right.
Okay, Dragon, you want to just dive right into it then?
Wait a minute. Hold the phone there. Remember, yes, you did call that, Teague, but after I corrected you and you said, no, though, Jerome's corpse wouldn't play a role in this episode at all.
Okay, yeah, to be fair, we thought that it was going to be Ra's al Ghul who was going to be the corpse, but that got settled. Last episode was the Ra's al Ghul corpse storyline.
And then you still thought it was going to be a Ra's episode before I...
Okay, look, you got that. I got that wrong, but I did get the whole thing about him communicating from beyond the grave, right? So it's 1 for 1 right now.
All right, I just want to make it clear, we're on even footing there. All right.
Okay.
All right. So we start with the cult of Jerome holding a funeral for their fallen leader, and we have the hilarious tombstone. I love this gag, I really do. Second time's the charm. written on his tombstone. So they're holding a little funeral, and then proto Harley Quinn, which is very creepy. And the first time we're seeing her here, it's a creepy, kind of dark and silent kind of version of the Harley Quinn costume. You have like kind of like the China doll mask that she's wearing. Kind of again, there's a lot of eight. Tiki, you're very right at the beginning of the season, where there's a lot of '89 in how we're approaching the whole Jerome, in this case Jerome Jeremiah thing, but all.
Oh, most definitely. And I love that Jeremiah is totally it absolutely is kind of like a mirror image of Ledger Joker and Nicholson Joker in the best of ways.
And I say that because her mask is like Jack Napier's girlfriend. You remember Joker had like he experimented on he mutilated the girl and they had to wear like the China doll mask. It's very akin. It's very akin to that. And again, this is a cool idea that I don't know if they pulled it from the comics, but I was reading this one story where Joker, either the wig Harley out, or in actuality, the idea is he just to torture Harley. They were on the rocks at the time. He like chained her up in a basement. And inside the basement, there was like a whole barrage of skeletons wearing Harley Quinn costumes. So the idea was that she wasn't the first. It was really hard. It was a really horrifying idea that the Harley Quinn mantle was just again because even basically he goes to a therapist, psychiatrist, and again has the ultimate opportunity with Harleen Quinzel. Like, oh my god, the first time because Harley Quinn of Hate, it's one of Joker's nicknames. So Harley Quinn's, or it's a thing from the circus. So it existed before Harley Quinn. It probably made him laugh so much that oh my god, Harleen Quinzel rework it of Harley Quinn. That's how they meet. So again, it's a fun idea, like kind of a mantle. Like, I'm down for the proto Harley idea, and I called this like, who was underneath the Harley Quinn.
You certainly did. You certainly did.
We'll get there. So anyway, yeah. So Tika, as you were saying, so we have the pre-recorded plot in play. Now this is an idea, and I did inform Tiki of this when he did predict this. So there is a great idea from the Arkham City comics. That Joker, and again, rarely you see this enact when Joker is actually for keeps dead, because usually, of course, is always like Joker faking, always looks like he dies and he never does die. But when he actually dies in like the Arkham City comic, which is ironically called Endgame, despite the Scott Snyder story Endgame that came years later, the point is there's an Arkham City one shot where it takes place directly. It's like the aftermath of the game where Joker dies at the end. And Joker has like this kind of pus humus kind of scab. Basically, all this chaos is enacted. Like he has his body is booby trapped, and like just to give like the coroner like a scare, and has like a whole like revenge plot, like a final revenge plot against Batman put into place. So again, this whole like beyond the grave stuff is really good. And really like again, that was a good story too. So I was very excited to see it.
And I was also very satisfied that it was kind of like what I called it was kind of the dark and twisted 13 Reasons Why, with with the tape recorder and everything.
Kind of was because our proto Harley she plays a tape recorder, which is Jerome giving his followers
Hannah Baker.
Of course, folks, 13 Reasons Why season 2 coming soon.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so of course
I'm dreading that dragon, but we'll I'm not dreading it in that it's a terrible show. I'm just dreading it in that I'm not sure I'll be able to emotionally handle it.
All I care about is we get more Dylan Minnette. So, yeah.
Yep.
It'll be fun. Anyway, so we have this great cold open ending here where basically Jerome's like giving a set of instructions. Okay, first instruction, dig me up. They're all digging him up. It's a creepy opening. Oh my god, like digging.
Oh yeah, it's a great kind of like really rapid fire cold open. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like the Harley Quinn prototype shows up. They start digging. The end. Cut to credits. We don't need to know anymore.
And again, it befits the title too, right off the bat. Like, oh, that old corpse.
That old corpse.
All right. So let's see. So again, the cult's very eager to kind of fulfill Jerome's last caper. So they're all very excited about it. So they come back from the opening. Let's see. Jim contemplates how to handle Lee because he had to arrest Lee for the bank robberies last episode while the Riddler got away. And Bullock suggests letting her go. He says, "Well, why don't you let her go? We've gotten away with it."
I really like this shade of Bullock here, where because we've been getting this dynamic all season where Bullock is kind of he's kind of telling Jim like, look, now that you're in deep, you owe it to yourself, like you don't get to have special treatment anymore.
Yeah.
So
basically,
he doesn't get to lay down the law. He doesn't get to, like Bullock's basically kind of calling him out for being hypocritical of this whole thing.
Yeah. And Jim, he basically reminds Jim that his hands aren't so clean. That he could just let her walk out the back. I mean, why not? She was targeting a bank. She wasn't really doing anything horrible. So this gets Jim really peeved at Bullock because the idea I read it as, Jim, he's accepted what he's done, and he and Bullock, they've reached an understanding. They're moving forward with things, but Jim, he really doesn't want it thrown in his face. Again, he's trying to live with it, and this Bullock kind of. Jim's trying to live on the straight and narrow, despite having done this, and he's trying to, I'm gonna take that as like the ultimate reminder that my hands aren't clean either. I'm not better than anybody else, but I'm still gonna try to kind of.
But this kind of connects back to the, the classic Jim and Bullock dynamic that we've been getting since the beginning here, where Bullock is corrupt, but he's corrupt out of necessity. He's corrupt out of, because he, like, that's just kind of like part of the job when it comes to being in the GCPD. He's corrupt for the sake of keeping his head above water.
Exactly. And again, Jim's not really feeling the reminder right now, so he kicks Bullock out of the room like, take 5, get out of here. I want to see your face. I don't think you remind me of that crap. So, let's see. So then Jim and Lee, he goes in the interrogation room. He and Lee have again. Thankfully, this is not season 3, Lee, because this conversation goes a lot better than it could have.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God, if this was season 3, it'd be like, well, Jim, you're the real monster here. You're the one who should be behind bars because you murdered Mario.
You're making her sound a lot like Barbara, that monster Victor says.
Well, yeah, to be fair, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Anyway, so Jim and Lee, they have a debate about kind of the effectiveness of law in Gotham these days. Again, like I was targeting the banks. I mean, come on, really, the law really hasn't really protected any of those people in the narrow. So like what I was doing really wasn't all that bad. So Jim, again, I love in this scene. I love Ben McKenzie in this. Ben McKenzie was really he was used sparingly in this episode. You're wrong. I mean, obviously he was in the episode. But I mean, really he had some really meaty scenes in sparing places here. Well, this is a good one.
Gee, Dragon, this might be his swan song. We might never see Ben McKenzie again. I mean,
like poor Chewbacca.
That and Chewbacca might get killed off in Solo, a Star Wars story.
We go into the big cantina in the sky.
I mean, we all know that that's the big reason why everyone wants to go see Solo is to find out if Chewie lives or dies at the end of that trailer.
I gotta tell you though, that's a team up I wouldn't mind seeing. Basically, like a hairy version of Bullock teamed up with Jim Gordon.
God. Anyways.
It's hilarious.
Are you really trying to get away with that shit?
It'd be hilarious if Chewie played good cop. Anyway, so the idea is Jim wants to let her go. He wants to let her go, but he can't because again he's trying to maintain kind of some not moral superiority. He's just trying to maintain his morals as much as he can. Where he has to believe in the law because that's all he's clinging on to right now. We have kind of a sad undercurrent of that here in this episode where. Again, Jim is clinging to the system because again he's kind of been led astray by it, by out of necessity, like Bullock, and he's not crazy about doing that, and he's just trying he's trying to use what legal routes that he can to kind of get Lee exonerated here. Just give up the Riddler and you can go here. Help yourself here, Lee. Don't help me.
And I gotta say, Dragon, I'm really sold on the chemistry between Lee and Ed in this episode. We'll get there.
I know. I can't wait to get to that scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Lee kind of calls Jim on this. why are you still leaving the system, Jim? After all the stuff that's happened, that's transpired. I had to shoot Sophia in the head. Why? The system's obviously broken. So she calls him out on this, and the performance of McKenzie is so great here in that Jim has this great line. Tiki, this is classic Jim Gordon here, and again, Jim Gordon applied to kind of what we have contextually in the series, where he's had to make a moral compromise. Where now this kind of adds another layer to it, where he says, there's so many things, and again, the fact that Lee's in the room because again he wanted that relationship to work out with Lee so much, and because things got so chaotic in season 3, it's like these things went so wrong. There's so many things I wish I could change. What things I've done. So again, the things I've done is I wish I was still the Jim Gordon from season 1, but I'm not. And this moment, I love how Miranda Backer, I just love her perceiving him in the scene here. It's like again, she's reading the emotions before she's reading what he's saying, and I like that. So they're interrupted by Lucius and Bullock, who present Jim with a gift from a posthumous gift from Jerome. So basically, the gift is a VHS tape, and I love it's a VHS tape. Puts it in. It's a last will and testament.
Again, Dragon, I'm telling you, Jerome took some cues from 13 Reasons Why. You know, he's got the tape recorder, he's got the VHS, he loves the the beta technology.
And we have, and honestly, this whole again the way that Cameron Monaghan, he's knocking out of the ballpark this episode for what he does. Because of course he's playing two characters, but he's playing two very very different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that we have classic Jerome here, and this is very much a blend of kind of the again with the whole removed face and everything, very kind of death of the family, Scott Snyder, Batman in the writing and in the visual for Jerome, but also just the whole the presence that he has on the VHS tape on the Last Will and Testament, the whole idea of Jerome or Proto Joker having a Last Will and Testament is very Mark Hamill-esque from the animated series. Hello, Jimbo.
And this might be Cameron Monaghan closest channeling of Mark Hamill, I would say.
I take it things didn't work so well for me. Oh well. Yeah, it's just it's channeling one of the best. Honestly, Mark Hamill's favorite episode from Batman the Animated Series. The Man Who Killed Batman. That's his favorite performance of the Joker ever. So it's kind of channeling that, honestly, the whole kind of death of it all.
Nice.
Let's see. So let's see. Oh, anyway, so basically, he just to speed through a little here. Basically, Jerome pre-recorded his plot, and he wants Jim to throw him awake at the GCP. Now, when I heard that for a moment, I thought, is he really good? Are we gonna have Ben McKenzie delivering a hilarious eulogy for Jerome? I don't know. It didn't cross my mind. I guess the matter.
All right, I guess I got to play along with it. Jerome, have you stashed a priest uniform for me to wear somewhere, like Kevin Garvey in that one Leftovers episode?
Oh God! I'm imagining if he would go up to the podium and just roll his eyes and Bull's I don't know, you have to.
Anyway, being kind of into it, he's just kind of come on, Jim, you'll make a great eulogy. I believe in you, buddy.
Bullock, taking his hat off and holding up a shot or something. drink to that psychopath. Anyway. Oh, So basically, Jerome reveals, "Hey, I want you to throw a wake at the GCPD for me." And of course, the actual wake is that he has a guest list in mind, which is all of Jerome's followers are basically swarming outside the GCPD gathering so they can burst into the place. And finally, again, after all the times we've invaded the GCPD, I got to tell you, this is one of the times it's felt most relevant. Mm-hmm. This and maybe the Victor Zsasz stuff in the very beginning. This was the first time it's felt okay, they were invading the GCPD proper this time.
Well, that and maybe also the Penguin's umbrella, too. Although that wasn't necessarily invading the GCPD as much as it was just making a big entrance.
Right.
Anyway. Sorry, go ahead.
So the cult gathers outside, which means the GCPD is on lockdown. Okay, meanwhile, at the Narrows, the folks of the Narrows, they want to save Lee. They want to save the Doc, and the Riddler, he's taking charge, man. I love the Riddler.
Oh God, Dragon! I love how the Riddler is kind of like a Luke Cage style public hero for the Narrows, Dragon. It's so good. I love it.
And Tiki, this is befitting because, in Gotham City Sirens, the Riddler, he kind of becomes, for all intents and purposes, kind of a private detective of sorts, kind of like a professional puzzle solver who people go to with problems, and he's kind of not. At a certain point, he kind of becomes more of an anti-hero to whoever pays him the most, kind of like a Deadpool anti-hero type of you go to a guy, and obviously he's a villain, but if he's working for the good guys, he'll work for the good guys, for the money. And in this case, again, Riddler, he's a champion of the Narrows while the Doc's out to lunch essentially, and not out to lunch in the interrogation room. I know, but anyway, so Riddler has made a non-lethal promise to Lee, no, I won't kill Jim Gordon as much as I want to see some bad happen to that overgrown Boy Scout. So I'm not gonna trust her down there with him, so I gotta save her. So he basically has a non-lethal, clever plan in the works, but he needs a crack team for it. And this is a fun season 2 callback here. He has his team assembled with people, and it's a reference to when Nigma was in Arkham in season 2. He basically forged an alliance with all the Arkham inmates, and he told them to get them supplies, and they kept botching up the supplies. So finally, he assembles a crack team who give him the supplies that he needs, really household found items primer cord, fishing rod, You know, a pickle jar, like all this ridiculous stuff that he's gonna like concoct, like a MacGyver. He's gonna MacGyver the heck out of this.
Right, right.
All right, let's see. So, but I do love this. I love that Enigma's covering his base here. He has like a reluctant kind of plan in place. Okay, if Jim Gordon needs assistance, help him out. We don't want him to stir up any suspicion. You just help him out, make sure he doesn't get killed off. I land like they're romantic rivals. That's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be counting the rest of our money. We see like cut to the money on the table like it's a heist movie for a moment. Saving Lee will be a piece of cake. All right, let's see. So,
Alfred.
oh yeah, this is a big thing right here. So, Jim calls Alfred. You want to take us through some of this?
Yeah. He's Alfred saying that he's meeting with Jeremiah, and that kind of kind of takes Gordon aback a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because Jeremiah's brother's followers are currently rampaging through the GCPD, so cause for a little bit of concern, that there might be something going on, that Jeremiah might also be in danger. And then Alfred Dragon, he's arming up. He's not taking any shit. He's just like, okay, time to go after him.
I love how visually he's getting really worried and arming himself up as he's being all calm and cool, collected on the phone with Jim. So then Alfred's heading to the maze as the cult use the coffin. Again, we don't know what was in that coffin. Just made it even more hilarious that he's using the coffin as a battering ram to get into the GCPD. And of course, Bullock said, "What's the plan? Armory. I like that plan."
Yeah.
All right, so then GCPD, now they're armed to the teeth, and Jim lays out the plan. So the plan is not to fall for the distraction, because there's always a distraction with Jerome. It's kind of like the age-old, one of the great Batman lines, Tiki, that was in the animated series and even made its way to The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, is that things are never easy with the Joker. One of Kevin Conroy's great lines in reference to the Joker is, things are never easy with the Joker. And of course, in the Dark Knight, we have like the beginning of that where Gordon's about to strike on like saving the hostages, and he says, "Wait, no, it's never easy with him."
Mm-hmm.
A little fun. So anyway, so like it's never easy with Jerome. So the plan is, Gordon's plan essentially is, okay, we're gonna let him in, we're gonna fall back, have some cover fire, we're gonna fall back and essentially let him party a little.
I really like this plan, by the way. It's kind of just like, yeah, just let him blow off some. It's almost kind of like just how parents would approach, disobedient teenagers. Like, just let them blow off some steam, let them have their fun. But then in the morning, we're gonna make them, like do some hard labor when they have a hangover and see how they like it.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, let them party a little. Once we get them all corralled in there, we lock up the place. We fire in the tear gas. We go in there when the tear gas is filling the room. They're all discombobulated. We knock some heads, and like Bullock likes that plan. So meanwhile, so as they're formulating their plan, they're getting ready to act on that. Jeremiah and Bruce, they complete what they've been working on all this time. We set this up, and again, we had to design the schematics. So I love how
I really love how this technology is set up, because at first it seems like such a cool kind of kind of really efficient way to save electricity. You know what I mean?
And what's so cool about
back in a really dangerous kind of way, it's a great pool.
It does, and of course, speaking of pool, of course, is a huge reference to The Dark Knight Rises.
Sure.
The idea here, so essentially, we set this up when Bruce met Jeremiah, and we were in his room, and we saw the project. We had a model of this. Remember, we saw the model, which again I thought was going to be it's much more accurate than I thought it was. Actually, if you go back and see it, where essentially it's the official name is a compact electrical engine, and essentially what it is, it's a clean energy generator. Which again, what in The Dark Knight Rises, you had the clean energy project that Bruce Wayne was working on to save Gotham. So again, they kind of pulled from another Nolan film on that one. Again, I think they made it work a lot better than that one.
To be fair, a lot of stuff works a lot better outside of The Dark Knight Rises than inside of The Dark Knight.
Let's not get petty.
You kind of set me up for it.
Go on, you're better than that. Anyway, so Jeremiah demonstrates it, and we have this really great visual thing where essentially, and again, it kind of reminded me of the Arkham Knight game, where you have the Batmobile where it breaks down, you have to put in like a new energy cell. So essentially, it's like a cell like this, where it has like the lights go, they disconnect it from the power grid, so it comes on. It basically powers the room, and I love that it has this blue glow. I like how we have a color shift for things later on, so it's a nice blue glow in the room. And also, this is a really cool line I called in the rewatch. It made me really excited. Like, oh my god, that's great! And I hope they reference this again. Where Bruce or Jeremiah, I think it might have been Jeremiah, whoever says it, they basically give a little kind of a little pseudoscience explanation for this, where it basically it's creates clean and stable energy and uses micro tremors to make that happen. So there's a little reverberation vibration. The idea is
And
mic-
I like that it's basically like it takes up no power. It's like totally like completely it's like the ultimate like conservation type thing. You know what I mean?
exactly, but the micro tremors of it all, Tiki, that essentially will definitely lead us to No Man's Land, which No Man's Land in the comics was an earthquake. So micro tremors, earthquake.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That got me very excited in the real. It's like, oh my god, micro tremors might do it even better than I thought they're going to do it. Oh. Anyway, so virtually without cost too. That's the neat thing. Basically, once you build it, you don't have to replace it or anything. So it's virtually without cost. Which again, that's the important thing. Basically, after the mass production, which Wayne Enterprises will foot the bill for, hey, Gotham saved. And they have a bunch of prototypes in the Wayne labs already, enough to power all of Gotham. So Jeremiah warns Bruce about trust, and again, trust is a big thing between these two. And
of course, I love how rewatching the episode, it's kind of like at this point Jeremiah already is like 5 steps ahead of Bruce. It's like he's already putting up a false front.
Speaking of Jeremiah, we got to talk about this because this was going through my mind the first time we were watching this, and of course we'll talk about the ultimate reveal. But we got to talk about this, Stevie. So when you're first watching this episode, of course, we the audience are armed with a big piece of information that Bruce isn't. That we ended with that epic killing joke shot with Jeremiah, where he basically was Jokerized, and we thought, oh my god, he's gonna be full blown Joker, but he wasn't.
Yeah, I gotta say, Dragon, I was kind of thinking that he was just hiding it, but I didn't realize that it was literally like, he put on a completely different face. I didn't think they had gone that far, but I did think that somehow it was kind of like a Venom type thing where, he had it under control to a certain extent, but it was kind of boiling just below the surface.
Like possibly a Jekyll Hyde type thing,
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. I was thinking it was either going to be, which again, if they did a Jekyll Hyde thing, it would have been exactly like Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, so I'm just saying it was a cool. I was a clever, inspired idea. Where it's like, yeah, we're gonna basically kind of subvert what people were expecting right off the bat, so we can build it. And of course, it's very much there's a lot of Scott Snyder ideas here, and all the ideas in relation to Jeremiah in this episode are very referential to the sequel to Death of the Family called Endgame. And I've been hyping this up, and this episode is all Endgame. All the Jeremiah stuff is practically all Endgame, and I love it. So more on that later. Anyway, so. Oh my god, this idea blew me. This idea got me in a really personal place because I always loved this. I always loved this thing where they homage something in real life with Heath Ledger in this episode. That was always fascinating.
The Notebook, right.
So Arkham sent after Jerome died. Arkham sent Jerome's effects to his brother, and one of those effects was was Jerome's diary. And in real life, Heath Ledger he had a Joker diary that helped. It was all kind of cryptic and kind of scary. Had like images of Alex DeLarge and like things the Joker would find funny. He basically studied this book for a few months or so, in a hotel room, and he basically that's how he got in the character. Mainly, it's how he figured out the character. He's in the misconceptions that he was stuck in character, which is not true. It's just the idea that's how he figured out the character, but figured out better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, like I love we took that idea, which is always like I've always been dying to read that book, and the closest you can get to reading it is like just like even the Heath Ledger documentary, and they have a few pages revealed. But it's like an elephant's on the book. It's like really it's a circus book. It's kind of creepy. So so Jeremiah has an even creepier version of that,
which it's basically like kind of like an edgy high schooler's equivalent to a Joker notebook,
essentially. And what we have in this notebook is. Basically Jerome's fantasies, goals, and sketches, and like we have like just a few pages. What we can really see here is like war is coming, written in red, and like all this like horrifying gibberish. It's very much like the Notebook from. It's a less R-rated version of the Notebook from American Psycho. You remember that at the end of American Psycho, we saw his horrifying Notebook.
Yeah.
Kind of like that. Anyway, so we see like bleeding eyes, and we have these. The one that cracked me up though, and this feels classic Joker. I've seen like in a book they've done something kind of like this. It's a little kitty drawing of of Jerome dumping thumbtacks onto Jeremiah, like from the barrel on like a cliff or something, which I thought was
You know
hilarious.
what
And
I would
kind
have loved in this notebook is like Jerome to Bruce Wayne saying, "I want a pony."
of, God,
That's still one of my favorite Jerome lines.
I
Trying
know, I know.
and a pony.
So as we see some horrifying sketches of this, mainly with Bruce, but he mentions that, oh my God, there's so many pages in this book about killing Jim Gordon, you, and myself. Like there's like, and we see like Herfey says like Bruce's face is half melted in drawing form, and like he has snakes in his hair. It's really weird.
Oh,
And let's see. Oh, here's the great line. Here's a big, great foreshadowy line that makes me love this episode here, where he says, "Had he been sane, he would have destroyed us all, and Gotham would be in ruins." Which, of course, is a great foreshadow. So,
yeah.
and then this bit follows. And Tiki, I kind of called this. I'm reading into it, so that's not like, hey, and we'll see how the next episodes go. I think thematically, it's there. I'm convinced. Where Bruce puts his hand down, a really good.
I love this. I love this because Bruce is just like he's being genuinely protective over
Yeah.
at this point. You know,
Your
he's
brother,
just, like he wants to protect his friend. It's almost God, Dragon.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you know what I'm gonna say, right?
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
This is pretty much the closest we're gonna get to a Two-Face dynamic with Bruce Wayne.
Essentially.
God, it totally is though. It's totally a fill-in for a Harvey Dent, and I kind of like it.
Anyway, so Bruce puts his hand down like a very Batman, very dramatic fashion. He says, Jeremiah, your brother's dead. It's time for you to join, basically leave your walls and join the world outside.
Oh,
And again, this is logical advice from Bruce, who again, he's been through this. And here's what I love taking the idea is I'm so fascinated by, and I love this idea. And again, I'm thematically, I think it's absolutely there. That I love having a Batman and a Joker who are, in this case, Bruce and Jeremiah, who are tied together as brothers in mourning.
uh-huh.
That's the thing, because they both have suffered a loss that has defined them fundamentally. And Bruce is trying to save Jeremiah. He's trying to save Jeremiah and steer him down a path, essentially steer him down a Batman path of, hey, let's save Gotham together. It's very, let's just say, as that spoiling anything, it's very Telltale Batman game-esque for the sequel, for that Enemy Within. It's very,
I really hope that comes to Switch soon, man.
all I'm saying is it's very much kind of like the idea of like, could you save the Joker?
I like the setup that they did with the Joker and the Telltale game.
And again, that's kind of the idea. Like, what if you feasibly could reach the Joker? It's like, what's that idea of like, what if you? It approaches the whole the Bruce Joker thing very, very differently than you've ever seen before the Telltale game. Anyway, so my point is, I love like basically again, Jeremiah grew up with a heart, with a brother who was pure evil and like tortured and basically made it had driven him mad. And the idea that Bruce is kind of like the brother that he always wanted, which again complements the whole, which complements again their friendship. Definitely speaks is that they're looking after each other, they like each other, and they have that tie with Thomas Wayne to each other. That Thomas Wayne worked with Jeremiah, and it's that whole like it's such a fascinating way to tie together. Why is Joker so obsessed with Batman? This makes all the sense in the world, and I love it. Okay, anyway, so Alfred informs Bruce. He calls Bruce and he tells him what's going on. Bruce tries to lie to Jeremiah. This is all like Telltale game stuff right here, where the minute he tries to lie to Jeremiah, who again, being eventually a Joker, is a guy who's going to be so in tune with Batman that he'll be able to sense this like a lot.
Right.
Where he catches it.
Like how it's kind of like how the wife is just like, oh no, you can't bullshit me.
Exactly. So an instant says, you're lying to me. And again, so there's a little bit of distrust there, which is going to set off like definitely some paranoia with Jeremiah in the episode, where Jeremiah, he tells him that your brother's cult is, infiltrating the GCPD. So then Jeremiah panics and he's paranoid that Jerome's back. Like his worst nightmare. Oh my God, he's coming back. And I read all the stuff, all the horrible stuff, because he's become obsessed with the diary. He's like, oh God, he's going to do all this horrible stuff to me. He's coming after me. Oh God. So Alfred, now this is a big payoff. I'm going to speculate on for the next episode. Alfred has been attacked, kind of horror movie style, like under the door. It's really well directed, like he's being attacked, presumably by proto Harley Quinn, presumably. So he's been attacked, and we're going to see the aftermath of that, which is quite horrifying later on. That under the door shot really neat. Meanwhile, head back from that, Bruce tries to calm Jeremiah down. He reveals Jeremiah reveals essentially the Killing Joke ending that we saw unfold, and that's entertainment. Where like, my brother sent one last trick for another posthumous, gift for me that basically sprayed me with insanity gas. And again, I love Bruce's reaction here. He's processing this.
And Bruce at this point is just kind of like, God damn it, Jeremiah! I know what show we're on. They've done some crazy stuff on this show, so I believe you.
Yeah. So it basically says that he's been seeing the vision that he's been seeing is his brother clawing his way from the grave. And we know that he's been hearing his brother from that spray. So again, it's like for us, the audience, we're believing, okay, he went through that. And again, it's a real question of like, how the heck is he? It must have been like mostly in his head, it must have been like a visual cheat, right? Maybe, maybe not. So Bruce proposes, showing Jeremiah his brother's grave. And again, I love that we, the audience, are armed with information. This is going to go horribly wrong, given they dug up the body, and Bruce doesn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So just to put the insanity gas delusions to bed. Like, you're going to see your brother still dead and buried. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to basically free yourself. He took away your greatest gift, which was your mind, Jeremiah. We got to fix that. I'm going to free you. I love that he phrases it like this. You're going to free you from your brother's trap. In that, again, it fits the whole labyrinthian theme of Jeremiah. He's a really smart guy, that he's crafted mazes and everything. And again, like, fits the whole, like, get out of this trap, that you're the trap maker, you're better than your brother, essentially, is kind of what he's saying there. And you're a good friend, Bruce.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Let's see. Then he's just Jeremiah's just he's gonna give it his best shot. They're going to go for it. Meanwhile, at the GCPD, they're getting close to hammering down the door in with the coffin as the battering ram. They're awful close there.
Oh, yeah.
And meanwhile, Gordon's trying to escort Lee out of the GCPD. And I like this. Lee is kind of like, it's kind of almost a little last minute. She's just kind of like, come to the Narrows with me. You can make a difference on your own terms.
Yeah, here's the thing. This it's a good scene, but I gotta tell you, it's not. I don't think it's like a point away from
I like
upset
the idea of it. I just think the timing of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like, Lee, this is great stuff, but very ill-timed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in agreement with you there, Dragon.
Exactly. Now, here's what I really like about this. My guess for the foreshadow here is that what she's really telling him about here is like, hey, you can make a difference outside of the GCP.
Yeah, you're right. I could see that, and of course, we've got to get to Batman proper by the end of the season, I would think.
Well, again, I don't think he's going to be putting on the suit, but I think he's going to be definitely
at the very least get the genesis, like kind of like all the pieces are going to be put in place for the idea.
I'll blow your mind when we get the speculation, but we'll
okay.
Anyway, the point is, again, like a big foreshadow for No Man's Land. Tiki, that story is all about Gordon preserving order in Gotham, where basically it's divided into territories, and it's like there is no Batman, essentially. That's what that story is all about. So it's kind of Jim preserving law and order, where law and order can't really be held to an accountable standard, where he can bend the rules a lot. Mm-hmm. Like, he teamed up with Two-Face in that book because he knew Harvey Dent, but again, Two-Face is like, oh my god, like, I'm making a compromise here I never thought I'd make. So this whole thing that Lee's offering very likely is going to be where we're going to be with Jim Gordon in season 5, would be my guess. Or at the very least by the end of the season. Anyway, okay, so wrong time to be asking. Wrong time to be asking this, Lee. This is a great, great question. Anyway, so this is interrupted by the cult bursting through. They bust through, and it's crazy in there. They're outnumbered. Liam gets knocked out, like, again, her head slammed to the fire extinguisher by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, so. Oh yeah, so Jim is chased by the guy from earlier, who essentially the leader of the cult, because it always has to be like a main guy for the cultidrome. In this case, it's the sword juggler. And anyway, the sword juggler guy, he chases Jim into the locker room, and he says, "Ah, yes, you, Captain Gordon, the assassin of Jerome Valeska." Me, I always love when Gordon has an opportunity just to holster his weapon instead of fire it. So he holsters his weapon and he just says, Ben McKenzie having this great tongue-in-cheek delivery. Hi, guys. Don't try to get chummy with us now. I was talking to them. We revealed Bullock and Harper, and Bullock having that line very akin to 89, like Ever Dance with the Devil in the Pale Moonlight, where he says, hey, man, you like the dance?
Oh God!
Zaps him with the cattle prod.
I don't know. That might be a little bit of a stretch to say it's a direct reference to the pale moonlight thing. But...
I'm just saying, like, of all the lines you could have said, hey, you like the dance? I mean, come on. I'm saying this episode is chock.
Your heart's at with that dragon.
Yeah, this episode is so chock full of 89. Then they're gonna have a dance thing and not think of pale moonlight. Anyway, so the point is here they zap the crap out of those guys. Bullock armed with the cattle prod, very dangerous thing because he likes to use it.
Oh yeah.
And Jim, there's a great bit here where Jim says, "Why don't you and me talk outside?" And grabs the guy so hard that basically we almost Lucas swipe to the next scene. All right, so oh yes, we have the very scary Death of the Family. Again, there's a big call to Death of the Family is my prediction.
Big time, yeah.
Where Alfred, of course, how that book goes. Alfred's kidnapped in the very first issue of that book. Where we have a blood trail as Bruce is trying to call Alfred's phone. We see Alfred's phone is gone, and there's a big old nasty blood trail leading out of Wayne Manor. Like,
I didn't even catch this the first time I watched the episode. Dragon.
Yeah, big old subtle. Yeah, big old nasty blood trail. Like, oh my God, poor Alfred.
Well, I mean, yeah, the blood trail isn't subtle, but I think the fact that it's Alfred is a little bit on the subtle side because we see the blood trail and then we see Bruce trying to call him. So we don't see a body in this situation and we don't see Alfred being attacked.
True.
Kind of like a weird, like this episode's like kind of weird where it puts a lot of different characters like on kind of the precipice of like, oh my God, are they gonna make it out alive like Chewie in that one shot in the end of the
all right, look, I get the Chewie point. Let's not go crazy with the Chewie comparison. Okay, we do have some. We have to care about our characters after all.
All right.
Anyway, so Jeremiah, he's panicking. He wants to flee because he wants to head back. Bruce is pressing on. They find the grave,
and then of course I just love how panicked Bruce is. He puts the pieces together right away.
I know. I love that he deduces it like a detective again.
Right.
Rach could call him that. Come on, Rach.
He knows how damaging it's going to be to Jerome. He knows it's just going to fuck Jerome up mentally. Like this is just going to be the antithesis of help for him.
And then Jeremiah, he panics and he flees.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I keep saying Jerome. My bad. I'm still used to saying Jerome Dragon. I'm sorry.
Anyway, Jeremiah he sees the grave. He panics. He flees. And Bruce then he processes it like for a moment. Like, oh my God, no, the followers die. Oh, no, Jeremiah, come back here. We gotta get out of here. He's chasing him. And of course, we end the whole second time. It's a clue. Actually, it's a great visual clue in the rewatch. Like second time's the charm. And again, like, hey, he's running away. Mm-hmm. There's a plot going on here.
Okay. So, meanwhile, we get kind of like the sitcom comic relief of the episode.
This is hilarious.
So, oh God. So Butch and Penguin are, they're squatting in Falcone's mansion.
A very domestic, kind of petty dynamic they have right here.
Odd couple thing. Like they're just like one beat away from like, and you stay on your side of the apartment.
God. So
I love how they have like the old fashioned TV dinner trays. Dragon.
I know you're right. And that's hysterical. Butch is being very petty about Penguin kind of taking a sweet old time to make good on his promise. Where he won't allow Penguin to eat. He's just using his immense strength. Like, nope, no chicken for you.
God.
So Penguin's like, okay,
I have to sit here and starve then.
Yep. So he's mad at Penguin's continual failings. Where we had like all these good plans going, and then they last minute they don't happen. Still no cure. Or Hugo Strange. We have this great moment where again Drew Powell is excellent. This episode is so fun as Butch / Grundy here, where he just says, and yet, and pointing to his little like jazz little motion like that. He says, and yet, still me. Still Grundy looking over here. So Penguin, he tries to spin it. We're waiting for the right moment. We're squatting in Falcone's mansion. We're mounting a nest egg. And he grabs him close as he threatens to crush his windpipe. And as he does this is a hilarious bickering right here, where Penguin notices the TV. Says, "Shush! Did you just shush me?" I don't know what it is. Drew Powell yelling like this is just kind of funny. I don't know what it is. So, basically, they see all the Jerome chaos at the GCPD, and he says, it's an opportunity. And, of course, like, oh, great, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Jim and Bullock, we have this great kind of trunk interrogation of of the sword juggler here, where basically they're asking for the rest of Jerome's instructions. They want to know what the rest of Jerome's plan is, and we have this great. It's such a sweet bit, and this is kind of to me, this is like an unofficial. This is Jim's apology to Bullock for earlier.
Mhm.
My headcanon here. Basically, Bullock's being Zap happy at this, and of course we have reporters and witnesses outside, and basically,
like Gordon, like he doesn't disapprove of what Bullock's doing, but he's just like Harvey, reporters.
even better, he says reporters, buddy.
Yeah, yeah.
And of course, he basically lowers the trunk, so he basically says, "Look, you're gonna tell me what I want before I don't want to hear you talk at all." Basically, keeps zapping the crap out of him, like
Teamwork, Dragon.
makes the dream work. So what he reveals all cockily is like Jeremiah, it's going after Jeremiah and Bruce Wayne.
Okay, so Riddler shows up on the scene. I love, like I said, Dragon, I love how citizens on the street are recognizing him as Mr. Riddler.
Oh yeah, this is funny. So Riddler and company, they arrive. They see the complication, what's going on in the GCPD right now, and they go to the prisoner transport. So
oh my god, this is a great gag.
It is. So again,
Riddler, we're saved.
Oh god, so Riddler, he finds out like how they were ushered out of the place. The service store, the service store is basically okay, and they shuts the door, and our happy-go-lucky prisoner, he said like we're saved. He's just like kind of lingering there, like what? So Riddler says, okay, we use the service store. We need a costume shop so we can sneak ourselves in there. So while that's happening, what happens next, Tiki?
Penguin opens the door. Penguin, we're saved.
They grab the sword juggler from earlier. So they go, that's the guy. He was just thrown in here. They got information from him. Grab him. And of course, the door's shut. And what happens?
You ever get tired of being wrong?
That's a great line, anyway. So let's see. So Lee comes to as the GCPD is in shambles. We have like ha 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 painted everywhere. Oh boy, it's horrifying. Very Batman Beyond this. Well, ha ha ha, just kind of the all the followers. Again, that's where they pulled that from. Batman Beyond, by the way.
I can see that. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So Bruce finds Jeremiah in this crypt, and this is a great set piece. Boy, oh boy, it's all creepy and like the shadow. I love the shadow working on this. We have like these little spires of light, but again, for the most part, we keep going from each character being in shadow. So, so again, they're very much brothers in mourning in this scene. Absolutely, where he can't trust Bruce because he doesn't. How can I trust you if you won't believe me? You can trust me because, again, David Mazouz, he had my heartstrings going on this one. He's just like, I know this is going to end in disaster, but he really cares about this guy. It's just, you can trust me because I'm your friend.
I like that they kind of have the inverse of the Joker and Batman relationship, where Joker, like Batman cares just as much about the Joker as Joker cares about Batman.
Yeah, he'll never admit it, but yes, deep down, like he feels responsible for the Joker. Yes. And yeah, absolutely, because like Joker just wants him to kind of admit the fascination, admit the friendship, as we've seen parodied and stuff like Lego Batman. Like, yes, it's deep down there, but we get like these excellent moments at the same time where Batman never admitting in Death of the Family, the dark. Essentially, it's really funny, folks. We mentioned this before. Death of the Family with the Joker Batman plot is essentially the dark, gritty version of Lego Batman. Lego Batman is the happy-go-lucky version of the like Joker basically just trying to get Batman to commit essentially in the relationship. That's really what he's trying to do. He wants him to say the line that he has in the book, where there's this excellent moment in the book where Batman says, "You do it out of love, Batman," and then Batman just says, "There's nothing I hate more on this earth than you, Joker." It's like, oh my god, you see the hatred. Anyway, so getting back on point here. So again, this great light and shadow work, and he says, "Look, Jeremiah, I believe in you. You're going to do great things for Gotham." A very ideal, a very optimistic line given what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And essentially, what's so fascinating here is, like, hey, let's save Gotham together versus, again, like the two of them being intrinsically, Bruce is intrinsically linking them, where of course they're going to be intrinsically linked to Bruce's chagrin later on. They're going to be, doing stuff for Gotham, but against each other. That's kind of where they're going. But again, all based upon this friendship that Batman started, which is so perverse and so cool.
Yeah, I'm endlessly fascinated by this reimagining of the Joker storyline. I think they're doing a fantastic job with it.
So, Jeremiah, he's paranoid. Basically, his paranoia kicks in this moment. And again, it makes you wonder. Again, we'll get into that argument a little later on, what exactly is going on there with the paranoia, if it's actual or not. But Jeremiah, he believes that that Jerome has pulled his big kind of death of the family moment again. That he thinks, and this is an idea from Death of the Family, where Bruce Wayne has a nightmare, and basically Alfred has been killed, and Joker stole Alfred's face, and he's trying to kill him with the Bat family around him. It's like a nightmare sequence. So Jeremiah thinks it's actually happened here. You killed Bruce. You killed my.
I love
you
that.
killed
I
my
love
friend.
how the Joker has become so dark and twisted that delusional paranoid thinking is just totally in the realm of possibility with the Joker. You know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't sound too far fetched.
And he's armed with a gun, and he's crazy. And again, you'd imagine, why the heck does he have a gun all of a sudden? And again, all answers are revealed later. But and here we go. We have now the way you could read this without getting too into it here is again, you got to wonder if all of this is a mind game or a test of their friendship.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Is it is it him playing a mind game, or is it just him kind of testing their friendship in this moment? Anyway, so and again, I the way I read it, him with the thematic thing I'm digging here is that I think that he's the reason he's doing this again, even whether it's again just happening or if it's part of a plan, regardless of the reason, he's lumping his brother in with Bruce Wayne because again he's likening Bruce to his brother in a really twisted way, but he's likening him to his brother, which in this case means, oh my god, I gotta kill you before you kill me.
Right.
Meanwhile, Enigma sneaking in as a clown.
God, this is great. I love the costume design on this.
Looks very Barnum, probably the most Barnum and Bailey you've ever seen the Riddler,
Yeah.
So he wanders in the place, and he's I love that they turn the casket into a cooler, which again, you imagine is a joke, Jerome's body might be buried within the ice and stuff, but no, we're going to learn why the casket's empty later on.
Mm-hmm.
So he grabs a beer, and anyway, so he's so again, this plan's working tremendously well until he wanders into the room where Lee's at and gets knocked out by Lee.
God. But I love how Lee just has instant concern when she sees it's Ed. You know what I mean? It's just instantly she's like, oh my God, what have I done? Oh no, Ed. Yeah. Like I said, Dragon, I'm digging these two cute kids together. I want to see these two cute kids succeed.
I'm melting at the end of I'm melting at the next scene between these two kids. To see, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Anyway, so Jim arrives at Jeremiah's labyrinth, his labyrinth lair, his lab, and he sees the energy cell, which is still activated, which is still on,
mm-hmm.
and the TV comes on. Boy, oh boy! And again, Tiki. This is the reason this might. I swear to God, this might be my favorite episode of this whole season. We'll see how the next two go.
But I definitely think it's in strong contention. I'd say it's at least in the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's between this and That's Entertainment. The big Jerome, when Jerome gets killed.
The thing with That's Entertainment is that had the Barbara stuff kind of weighing down a part of it.
Oh yeah, you're right. Keep forgetting about that. Okay, fine. Well, I guess by proxy, this one instantly is the favorite then. But
God.
The point is, those two are they're in the top 3.
Barbara is back to just ruining episodes, folks.
To be fair, it was just in what their payoff was for the Barbara stuff that really stung. Before it wasn't killing. Barbara wasn't killing the whole season.
Anyway,
so let me see. Right. Anyways, yeah, this is one of the reasons this episode's one of my absolute favorites for season 4, possibly the whole series. Honestly, I love the editing in this is fantastic. We edit between essentially 3 fights that are going on here. We edit between Bruce and Jeremiah, between Jim and Proto Harley, and Jerome versus other Jerome. So basically, the TV's come on, and we're about to begin kind of the editing symphony, if you will. So Bruce is trying to get through to Jeremiah as he's leading him to the grave, and then we have this beautiful shot. My favorite shot of the episode's towards a little later from this, but we're kind of getting close to it here, where we reveal Jerome's body, leaning on the grave, and I love how creepy it is. It's a great shot. Of course, we have the same actor kind of doing a split screen effect. It looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
Great shot of him leaning in, their horrified reaction, Bruce's horrified reaction, oh my God, Jeremiah, there's proof. So as that happens, again, this is when the big kind of basically the most Shyamalan stuff of the episode happens here. So,
oh yeah.
Hiya, Jimbo. Don't bother talking to me. This is a pre-recorded message. I'm still pretty much dead. And again, very much this is Hamill meets 89, especially 89 in this sequence. What we do with the TV in the moment. So basically, he's mentioning, oh, I knew you'd take the. He knew Jim was going to take the bait, which of course reveals a proto Harley holding him at gunpoint. The image of this evening we're working with.
Mm.
Jeremiah. By the way, this image in the promo kept making me think, oh my god, we're gonna, Jim, we're gonna do. This is what's gonna get Jim to one bad day. But he was wrong on that one, so you can't win them all, folks. Anyway, the point is, let's see. So now Jim's at Jerome's mercy. Oh yes. Then we cut back to the gravesite. Jeremiah's still not buying. He says, "I can see." He's just seeing the pre-existing scars from the face, and he assumes, "Oh yes, this is Bruce's body, and you switched faces. I can tell by the scarring." But being a man of science, and this is a very Scott Snyder-esque scene, Tiki. This is a very Scott Snyder scene from Death of the Family, where he pulls out a straight razor, and against. Honestly, I gotta tell you, I got a mini fear of straight razors.
I could see it. I wouldn't blame you.
Whenever I go to a bar, I'm always a little tense with the straight razor. It's like that's. No, it's not because of Sweeney Todd. But
I was going to say if Sweeney Todd taught us.
I'm just saying that didn't help. Right? That didn't help. Point is, okay. So anyway, so he's armed with the straight razor and he's going after Bruce. As he's going after Bruce, basically Jim finds his moment to strike as Jerome warns about the twist. Says, "Pay attention now because this is where the twist is coming."
And so, of course, at that point, we're just like, "Oh boy, Shyamalan! The Shyamalan senses are tingling."
So again, we have a really well intercut, really well laid out fight between these three going on here. It's Bruce, Jeremiah, Jim, and Proto Harley. Which again, Proto Harley, she's very skilled for a reason we're going to cipher momentarily. And Jerome being strangled by the next screen that we don't see yet. Mm-hmm. So it's let's see. So then we have so basically Jimmy knocks out Harley, and we reveal it's Echo. And again, I called that, and again because it's starting to make sense that when I saw Harley, I was banking on her being Echo, which it banked. I knew that Jeremiah was involved somehow. I didn't quite know exactly where they were going with this, and they surprised me with it. So I was still surprised by it. So we reveal it's Echo, which of course on the TV we have the ultimate '89 reference that we've ever had here. Where of course in '89. Joker appears with the makeup too, so it's the best. Honestly, it's one of the best '89 references they've had. Where you have Jack Napier on the TV, like pretend he had like the fake makeup on. He's saying, and he's pushing the news guy on the next TV next to him, like a side, and he has like two of them right next to each other. Direct '89 reference, and the removal of the makeup, just like '89.
Right.
So our big reveal is that we have a classic, while that's starting to be revealed, we have the classic kind of Batman Joker fight where he has him in a headlock, where Bruce has him in a headlock trying to talk some sense into him.
Yeah, but I like it. I like how right to the bitter end he's not giving up on Jeremiah. You know what I mean? He's like, look, we can fight this together, man. You just can't let Jerome win the battle.
This is so well laid out here. Where again, then backup arrives. Basically, we reveal that okay, now that he's been counting on. We see Jeremiah give a smile and that, oh god, he's been orchestrating this, and then Jerome's crazies kind of flock in. They're all saying, long live Jerome, and again our sword juggling guy, I think, or someone. Well, no, it's just some one of the followers just like saying that, and basically Django Unchained style. Jeremiah, he pulls like the wrist mounted like little extending gun like from Django when you shake somebody's hand like boom, pop, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. He has one of those up his sleeves. Again, they're saying like long live Jerome, and basically he shoots the guy like, right underneath his chin. And again, like Bruce is like in shock, and we have this great image where the blood spatter has struck Jeremiah's face, and I love that. It's this creepy little thing you have sometimes when you shoot someone in that close range, where you have blood in his eye, and it's like, oh, okay, it gives like a red eye look. It's oh man, that's creepy. He's dead. You pay attention. Jerome's dead. Then he pulls out the handkerchief, and as he's wiping away the blood, we reveal the white face underneath.
This is great, Dragon. The white face, again, as we've already pointed out, so reminiscent of Batman '89. I actually think the design-wise, tell me if I'm crazy here, Dragon, I almost kind of feel like it's a little bit of a mix between Nicholson and Cesar Romero.
Well, here's the thing. I think there's a thumbnail image I saw from the next episode that has a very Cesar Romero touch to it. But honestly, right here, I don't see it here. But next episode, I will see it. They might throw some Romero homages.
The only reason I say Cesar Romero is because this seems like a very classy Joker.
I mean, well, okay, by that logic, yeah, I can kind of see it there. I just think he has some more colorful gloves that are very akin to Cesar Romero for the next episode. So I think we're homaging all sorts of eras of Jokers. I think we're going to be hit with a whole bunch of them because this. So here's what we're doing here. So again, the '89 makeup, of course, it's very derivative of '89 in a good way. Of course, that little line of the episode for him would be he says, he's dead. Pay attention. We have the makeup reveal. He kicks Jerome's body in the grave. Says, I'm the one who's victorious. And again, it's we cut to the black and white TV revealing this again. It's all so well kind of cut and edited here. Where with the black and white, all the various TVs of Jeremiah's face on it, and he says, "Long live me." Boy, and then we have the big scene here, folks. Here's the big scene. Basically he says, like everything with Jerome, his like everything with Jerome, his gas failed. It left some cosmetic damage, which I would argue, and here's my reading into it, Tiki, is that, and I think what Bruce is kind of like suggesting to him is that the gas worked. I would meet in the middle. I think the gas obviously caused the cosmetic damage, and like he initially was really mad, and he was hearing the voices and everything, but then that kind of stopped. But what it did, and again, what Jerome said it was supposed to do, was let him off the chain. That's all he really wanted to come. Because again, the idea what we're playing with here is that Jeremiah was twisted in his childhood as well, but he kept it more well hidden and stuff. And basically, just Jerome brought it out of him. That was his last joke. So his gas worked, but he's just writing it off right there. So that's what I think.
A push, a push in the right direction, if you will.
But importantly, Tiki, one of the most important ideas with the Joker, and one of the things Scott Snyder does so fantastically that we do here, is that classically with the Joker is always that question, is he insane or is he super sane?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do here. So again, we don't know if the gas worked or not. That's the thing. I like there's enough. Again, I just think it let him off the chain, which means for the most part he is sane. But again, he's cosmetically he looks different, and that he's now not suppressing it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. So he basically where Jeremiah falls here is that he's very anti-chaos over, he views chaos as like feeble madness from his brother. Behold the face, and here's the great line taken. The line made me geek out like crazy, which is, "Behold the face of true sanity." And Tiki, this idea here, or this super sane Joker that we're doing here, this is all Scott Snyder endgame stuff. Where basically, Joker comes back, and initially he has the makeup and everything on too. So basically, he found a way to chemically suppress his Joker appearance. So Batman trusted this other guy who's running or worked for Arkham Asylum. He's a doctor at Arkham Asylum, Eric Borden, I think. And basically, his chemical makeup and everything, he revealed to Batman, like he surprised Batman, like, "Oh my God, you're the Joker! I had no idea." And this is Joker coming back, and as I've told you before, this is a Joker who hates Batman, he doesn't love him anymore, doesn't want to be his friend anymore,
mm-hmm.
And essentially, with all of that, what I'm getting at is that this is a Joker who's not about kind of chaos, look at me type stuff. Not about the dance with Batman. He's about like, I'm gonna out and do everything my brother did. I'm super, he's super sane, he's super scary. He's not like he's not the Mark Hamill Joker. He's that scary callous, almost Dark Knight Returns Joker. Like the whole, before the whole Batman darling. It's like Joker right before that point, which is where I think we're going with in the future with that. So he's basically using Jerome's diary as a to-do list to outdo everything, all the crazy things that his brother dreamed of, and like, I'm going to surpass my brother.
In that way, it's almost kind of like he's sticking it to Jerome for trying to make him his successor. It's like, no, I'm not just going to be Jerome's successor. I'm going to just completely everyone's just going to forget the name Jerome after I'm done with this city. I'm just going to go above and beyond.
Precisely, which is fantastic. And he says, this whole madhouse plan that Jerome had been building up, I'm going to drive Gotham mad with the laughing gas. In this case, I'm going to outdo Jerome's plan of turning Gotham into a madhouse by the only way to truly destroy something, the only way to truly tear down something is to build something. At least the only way to build something is to tear it down first, vice versa, whichever. So, and again, this fits into what we established with Jeremiah, that he was an architect. In this case, he's an architect of madness, and which fits Gotham in a show about the city itself. Again, this makes sense. If you're going to do a Joker different than any other Joker you've had before, he's an architect of madness. It's great.
Yeah.
So Proto Harley comes to. She locks Jim in the room as Jeremiah on the TV screens monologues over the trap that Gordon has found himself in. Very 60s Batman-esque, very 60s Batman trap, by the way. Horrifying version of it, though. Where Jeremiah reveals, as he's revealing to Bruce Wayne as well, that he can turn the clean energy cells into a bomb if it's overloaded. Basically, we turn the blue to red, and it's like that sound is a very bad sound.
Oh God.
And again, he's so scarily sane in the delivery. And again, that's all that it's that end game thing of like a Joker who's beyond the fun and games of it all. It's like, oh man, it's scary.
Mhm.
And let's see. So then we have. Oh yeah, so Bruce is kind of questioning this. He's saying like, yeah, obviously the gas work because you're trying to carry out a crazy plan sanely. What's madder than that? And he's just reading from the book here. Says, Jerome wanted to douse your body in honey and feed you the corpse beetles. Me and Tika, this is the main reference. This is the main reason I keep citing Endgame because the way Endgame kicked off was like this scene that he's referencing right here, where he says, "Me, I'll shoot you in the head." Because Endgame just starts with he traps Batman, he paralyzes Batman, he basically shoots him in the bulletproof cowl just to prove a point that hey, no more games, no more like dance around, no more like I'm just gonna like do all these over the top planes. I'm just gonna shoot you in the head and kill you.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of again, it's really great, straightforward, scary Joker like you rarely see these days. But he says, "I'm not going to do that though because I don't want to kill you." And we have two Dark Knight lines here. I don't want to kill you.
Yeah, right.
Because he wants to show Bruce how I've changed things, how we're going to change, how we've changed things. Again, the whole you've changed things. It's that line from the Dark Knight in the interrogation room. So, in referencing, have we've changed things, we intercut to the death trap that Gordon has found himself in, and we see the last Jim pulling a last minute escape because he's been in this room before and he remembers the secret exit. So he pushes the button, he grabs the blueprints, and he gets out of there at the last second. And oh yes, so then basically we have the big explosion. The big explosion happens. Boom. I'm sorry, do you want to take us through some of this?
Yeah, you're kind of running circles around me here, buddy.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's like you're just not really giving me a chance to weigh in here.
By all means, weigh in and take us through.
Yeah, well, as you said, I like how we kind of intercut these three things going on. Like we intercut the Bullock stuff, the Gordon stuff, and the Bruce stuff, all with the explosion. The explosion is the thing that ties everything in the episode together. It's kind of like the big, like, oh boy, real shit's going down. It's kind of like the cataclysmic, like the focal point here.
Yeah, and I love that in killing Jim Gordon. I love that that's kind of again. I know it's not actually dead. It's a very Chewbacca thing to do. But Tiki, the importance is that it's a symbol of something, and that it's hey, the first act that he does is like I overthrew the GCPD and I killed.
No, I understand that it's huge. It's like we get kind of like the closest equivalent to a mushroom cloud in Gotham that we've seen in the show so far.
Exactly, and I think like the first action, like the first thing he crossed off in the book is, "Hey, I killed Jim Gordon easily."
Mm-hmm.
The guy kept giving my brother the runaround. So, and I loved it. David Mazouz, he pulled my heartstrings. You're like, yes, this is the thing I've always wanted. One of the things I always wanted to see. Just like that Bruce Gordon connection here, where one down, Jim Gordon is dead, and then telling Bruce this after that explosion happens. And Bruce like, no, it's like yes, oh guys, that's
almost kind of like channeling another Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very like, no. And he's very upset. I love how upset he is, but I think that means all he cares about Gordon. That's nice. Anyway, says, I'm going to stop you. And we have my favorite moment in the entire episode. It comes up right here. My favorite image, my favorite moment.
My very best friend.
He knocks Bruce out and he kicks him into the grave. And Tiki, this shot is from Endgame, and I love that. And honestly, the episode could have ended here, and I would have been happy. And I don't mind if we have stuff afterwards, because again, we had a really great moment with the Riddler after this. But
actually, Dragon, I can go ahead and screen share it for you because I took the liberty of pulling it up after you expressed interest in it.
Oh, goody!
Yeah, give me one sec. Visual demonstration here, folks.
Folks, my favorite image from this episode that could have all ended here. It's such a great, prolific image. Here we go, right there. It's the two of them in the grave, right there, Bruce and Bruce and the initial Jerome, the one who started all this madness, again, the proto Joker that we started everything here with, the two of them in the grave together. Well, let's just say is a very important image from Batman Endgame towards the end of the story. It's really great.
So, like I said, I think it's crazy how throughout the episode we end things off with so many characters in dire straits. We have Bruce in the grave. We have Alfred being dragged away. We have Gordon with the explosion. It's almost kind of it almost kind of like feels like a season finale in its own right when it comes to the cliffhangers.
Would have been like the best, like if they were going to go on break, it would have been like the best, like mid-season, like close to the end.
It would be a good mid-season episode. You're right about that.
Yeah. Anyway, so again, seriously, they could have ended there, and that's like the only gripe is that they had such a fantastic image and like a fantastic end the way to go and way to end the episode. It would have worked, but again, nothing against what comes afterwards. Just like that's such a perfect ending you could have had. But then we have some other fun scenes after that. So again, like we're basically set up for the next episodes to come. So okay, so that happens. Then what happens after the big hallmark image of it all?
What happens after is we get Penguin, right?
Yes, Penguin. Penguin's interrogation.
Make sure I didn't have that messed up in my notes. Okay.
Penguin and Butch interrogating the sword juggler.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm sorry, you want me to run through
it? Yeah, for some reason my notes aren't really well, I guess the one thing I really like about this scene is that Penguin is just not taking the long live Jerome shit. You know what I mean? He's just like, Penguin is, as we've always known throughout the series, he's kind of like above Jerome's antics. He's kind of, he's kind of like the one character who sees himself as more than that.
Yeah. And again, he's not about the chaos business, which kind of raises the interesting point. What do you get along with the new kind of saner, scarier proto Joker? What do you get along with the guy who's less about chaos, more about just kind of getting horrific things done?
Mm-hmm.
Unclear. Anyway, of course, Penguin has the line of the episode here, which says, "Look, I don't want to hear about that old corpse." Like that old corpse line. Anyway, so he's not talking. He's just still in the cult mentality. And then he goes to Butch and Drew Powell. Oh my God, Drew Powell, he's an MVP in this scene here. It has a great line. He goes in like this beautiful monologue about like his life story. Yeah, like, I caught
myself in a mirror. Like I see myself in a mirror accidentally sometimes, and I get angry. The longer I look like this, the angrier I get. And right now, the way I see it, you are preventing me from finding a cure.
Anyway, so then Penguin kind of stops. Are you just going to compel him with your life story? Is that your plan? No, I was just going to see if I can make him wet himself. Anyway, want me to stick chicken bones up his nose until he talks? Yes, that'll do. I just love...
Again, kind of like an odd couple dynamic with the two of them there.
The Robin Lord Taylor delivery on that is hysterical. Yes, that will do. So anyway, so like here, and this is hysterical and it's so silly. I love these two guys together. I'm so glad we got them back together. Here comes the wishbone train, and Penguin off the side doing choo choo. Okay, so we go from a really funny scene to a really sweet, like, oh man, it's like the old Margot Kidder, Christopher Reeve thing. Like, if you can buy the lump story, you can believe in the movie here. If you can believe in it, you can buy these two. If you can invest in these two kids getting together, we have another. Here's a great time. Take them through.
So Lee wakes up Riddler, like, kind of calling him out, like, oh, smartest man in Gotham, huh?
I gotta tell you, it's like not so much even in the dialogue, and the dialogue's great. I'm just saying with Morena back, or
smartest man in Gotham, and you let your heart do the thinking for you. And then Ed just instantly, I like how smooth Ed is here. He's like, oh, smartest man in Gotham, huh?
I love that the visual in this again because Morena back, we're all big Baccarin fans. That I love just how cute this scene looks too. Just like they're like, oh, his head's in her lap, and she's looking at him. Oh, ain't that cute? Like they're like kids on a date or something. It's sweet. Anyway, so then says, well, how are we gonna get the an outfit for me? No, I'd be into that, but no, yeah, it's something better in mind. The gas mask when the tear gas comes, and he shows that he's been paying attention. He's been plotting this out. So, basically, he gets out of there. They have a romantic kiss as Bullock is, he's snagging some beers after they've kind of cleared the place out. I love it. Grabs beers from the casket, by the way.
Yeah.
There's a line that's classic.
It's right there. he doesn't want to let those beers go to waste. He's a practical man. He used to be a bartender. He knows the value of alcohol.
He has a line that's classic Bullock talking to Harper about his apartment, which again, to you, one of these days in the animated Batcave, uh, when you see a bullet for Bullock, which has Bullock and Montoya having their dynamic, and we see Bullock's apartment, it feels very referential. In this line here is this, moving basically a crappy apartment that he still lives in feels very akin to that episode. Okay, anyway, so last moment, basically they learn about like a break-in at Wayne Enterprise. Basically, learn about Wayne Enterprises, about the bomb thing, and we have this great last homage to '89 here, like just like '89 when the Joker made like his big appearance to Carl Grissom, to the crime boss Jack Palance. And he's all silhouetted and in shadow when he reveals himself. He's walking down the hallway and says, "Oh, Mr. Valeska, here's Bruce Wayne here." No, he's not here. And then of course we reveal Echo, who basically kills these guys. And they enter the room, and we see all these energy bombs. Time to give Gotham its new face.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Boy! Oh boy! So that's the episode, folks. Wow.
Yeah. So I guess we'll do speculation, then final thoughts, right?
Yeah, okay. Promo, we got very.
Yeah, I haven't had time to watch the promo, Dragon. So hit me with that.
Here's the promo. So we have Jeremiah putting Bruce through a very transformative experience. That's what he calls it. Bruce, you're about to go through a very transformative experience. We have a bomb standoff where basically Jeremiah is like looking at Bullock, who I assume is taking on the captainship, while Jim's kind of out of things right now. We have Scarecrow next episode, which is something I call.
I was actually about to ask, like, what happened with all those people.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my wish what Scarecrow looks like in this next episode. Here's the big moment. We have Scarecrow versus Selena Kyle, which is interesting. Selena's going to be in the next episode, and the big moment is Bruce gets fear gassed. I called that.
Here we go, Dragon. It's all coming together.
My big wish from the beginning of this season is about to come true. So, okay, here's the speculation, guys. Are you ready for this, Tiki?
Well, I know what you're going to say, but hit it to the audience.
I'm just saying, even beyond that. So I think the grand scheme, I'm going to hit you with it all here, man.
Okay, sure.
So, next episode, of course, is called, we have the best titles we've ever had on Gotham for these next two episodes. Next one is One Bad Day. Of course, huge Killing Joke reference, which has been confirmed. Oh, yeah, we're doing Killing Joke stuff. That's what David Mazouz has said. Like, oh, yeah, we're doing Killing Joke stuff this next episode. Where I think here's what we're doing. I think we're going to do One Bad Day, the whole One Bad Day plot, but instead with Jim Gordon, we're going to do it with Bruce Wayne. And this is going to be Jeremiah driving Bruce, trying to drive Bruce insane. And in doing so, what he's going to be doing is it's going to be kind of a... Basically, I think he's trying to drive Bruce mad, like he's trying to drive Jim Gordon mad, and he's going to have Scarecrow spray him with the fear gas, which will essentially give Bruce the Batman omen. Give him like the omen of the bats, and he'll finally have like all the pieces he needs to become Batman. And it'll be up to Selena. I think the genesis of the episode is okay. He's gonna be gassed to drive him crazy. That's where he's going to get the bad idea. Selena is going to try to save him, which is going to lead to the whole Scarecrow Selena Kyle fight. And importantly, I think one of our equivalent to Barbara Gordon being paralyzed is Alfred's going to be in peril, like death of the family, and that's what's going to be the thing. He's going to try to drive Bruce crazy with it because Alfred disappeared. We didn't see him again. He's been carted off to drive Bruce insane.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I could see that.
And like, again,
maybe like Bruce sees like a video feed of Alfred being tortured or something.
Exactly, like something like that to get under Bruce's skin and kind of drive him crazy, like like all the pictures of Barbara Gordon and Killing Joke.
Right, nice.
On the whole, what I think we're doing, again, character-wise, I'm dying for us to be doing is I think this will begin. One Bad Day will begin the race between Bruce becoming Batman and Jeremiah becoming the Joker. Basically, a race between them that might probably get solved in season 5. It'll begin here of these two guys racing to their identities, racing to who they're going, their destinies, racing to who they're going to become, which I think is.
Dragon, this whole thing kind of keeps building up my request that I truly think that season 5 is kind of shaping up to be like, if we want the series to go out on a high note, I feel like all the cards are in place for season 5 to be kind of like that great last season, that great end game that the show's been building up towards.
I've heard.
I really don't think narratively we need to go past season 5 with what we've been building up.
I've heard some unsubstantiated big plans for season five. I can't verify it. I'm just saying I've heard like people like kind of throwing out some terms for season five. The point is, it sounds exciting and sound interesting. Whatever they're going to do with it, regardless, I still have hope for season five along with you. So, I think so. Jeremiah, I think, is going to be working on. Oh, sorry. I think Jim, because he stole the blueprints. I think Jim's going to be working on a plan to foil the No Man Land plot. Where basically it's going to be like him and Bullock, and then Bruce probably trying to, after and then the No Man's Land episode, trying to, okay, we got to stop him from blowing up half of Gotham. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to be like a very last minute, like, okay, we just got Bruce out of this death defying situation, and now they're going to be throwing like we got to save Gotham before the clock runs out, essentially. Where they're going to be in a rush to save Gotham, everybody working together, and they're going to stop most of the bombs, but a large majority of them are going to go off, which will create no Man's Land. My big theory for this season, my big theory that again was put into play in the last episode with the Ra's al Ghul of it all, is that the end visual of the season is going to be Ra's vision fulfilled, which is Gotham on fire thanks to the bombs.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
And here's the ending of the season. I'm going to bet you all King Mice is silver on this one. End of the season. Jeremiah disappears in the explosion. He's alive, but we do a classic Joker death. Like he disappears, like, oh boy, is it like, obviously everyone's doubting that he's dead, but he disappeared in the chaos of it all. So he'll be Joker in the next season. He'll become Joker next season.
Mm-hmm.
But Bruce, I think the season's going to end with this. Bruce is going to be taken to train with Ra's, and that Gotham's in shambles, and like Ra's is probably going to come to him and say, "There's nothing you can do. The only thing you could have done is survive. Now you're going to become a Dark Knight of Gotham. Your job is to restore order in an unruly land. Let me train you." He's going to take Bruce out of the equation at the end of the season. When he comes back, it'll be basically, we're going to enter next season with Jim preserving law and order, mainly in a decimated, divided up Gotham. Like all the criminals are going to have sections of Gotham. We're going to do all no. We're going to start the first half of next season in No Man's Land. Jim Gordon desperately trying to preserve law and order, like him breaking all sorts of rules. And it's going to be building to Bruce coming back, and now armed with an identity that he's trying to, now he's going to be trained by Ra's al Ghul and everything. He's going to be coming back to Gotham, ready to help Jim restore order in it.
Mm.
That's all I got prediction wise. So.
All right. I haven't really had time to come up with any predictions. I'm sorry. It's been nonstop busy for me, Dragon. But final thoughts on this episode. I echo your sentiment that this might be the best episode of season 4. I really do think so. I think just the Joker lore in itself is very fascinating. It's really rich and fulfilling to see them do it in a really unique kind of way. Overall, just I like the drive of this episode. I like how we have the different locations all kind of building towards the same kind of storyline. You know what I mean? It's very much a good example of different storylines connecting into each other. And I don't know. I think maybe the cliffhangers were a bit much, but we'll see what happens. I might have liked the cliffhangers a bit more if it was the episode leading into the final episode, not the episode leading into the penultimate episode.
However, to be fair, those two episodes could feel like two-parters for all we know. They could be like, again, it's like the beginning of the end almost. So it is kind of a penultimate.
For sure. But yeah, overall, just all the good twists and everything. It's just I can't get over how good the Joker's been this season. It's I was really skeptical about the idea of Jerome not being the final interpretation of the Joker, but I think they've really stuck to landing on that concept and done it about as well as they possibly could have.
Oh yeah. So for me, I love this episode. It's probably my favorite of the season. It feels so, and again, I've always loved when Gotham kind of fits into a Scott Snyder review because again, that makes all the sense in the world with that show. And if this episode feels so Snyder-esque, feels so Batman Endgame, it feels so interesting. It's definitely the beginning of the race between Joker and Batman's destiny, and I love that. That kind of gets kicked off here. It's the beginning of a bombastic kind of two-part ending. It feels like I'm dazzled by nothing really is wrong with this episode at all for me. It's kind of a perfect episode in comparison to the seasoning. I had a lot of fun with it, and it's definitely it's very thrilling. It's like it feels. Again, it's the equivalent to and I hope the next two episodes are going to continue this because I have faith in them after this episode, especially. This season's going to feel like season 4 of Bates Motel, which again, season 4 of Bates Motel, it's an excellent season, but yet by the same token, you do have our Barbara like kind of her payoff of the Barbara the Barbara Keene story here is kind of like a Rebecca thing from Bates Motel season 4. That not everything's going to grab you, but the end though, like the ending with our core root characters, it's going to impress you. It's going to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. And like, yeah, that's Batman. That's my Batman right there. It's cool. So yeah, that's where I'm at on it. Okay, so ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember, kids, no matter how dark and scary the world may be out there, there will be light. There will be light.
Until next time when we go exploring Gotham yet again.
Yes, I would like that very much.